Hi, I'm Shannon Zadanowicz with ASM International. This is our submission for AppVenture automation of chapter and collaboration group assignment and removal. A couple things about me. I am a certified Salesforce administrator and a Cleveland Community Group co-leader, an App Exchange All-Star. I've been a business analyst for over 20 years in the software industry, and I started using Salesforce in 2010. I work for ASM International. We are a nonprofit located in the eastern suburbs outside Cleveland, Ohio. ASM is the world's foremost materials information society and was founded in 1913. You're seeing footage of our facility in Materials Park. So ASM has over 25,000 members and 7,000 companies that we do business with. We offer 90 courses a year and service over 3,000 students annually. We also have databases that contain a large amount of materials research, and we have over 500 corporations and universities that subscribe to those databases. ASM also has over 250,000 publications in the last 2 decades and sponsors 10 trade shows each year. The Materials Solution Network is a offering where we take a company that's looking for some materials research and we will partner them and identify them with a provider that will help get them that information to help them move forward with their project. You're looking at drone footage of our facility in Materials Park. This is the largest open-air geodesic dome. It's on the Historical Registry of Buildings. And just a couple fun facts, it is 103 feet high and 275 feet in diameter and contains over 65,000 parts, which include 13 miles of extruded aluminum tubing. There are no internal supports on the 80-ton dome. It's supported by 5 pylons that drive over 77 feet into the ground. So this is a very beautiful facility to get to come to work to every day, and we get a lot of visitors to see our grounds. Our business problem, ASM went live on Salesforce along with Fonteva member nation in February of this year. One of the problems we had to solve was automation of some high volume transactions that take place. So when you join as a member of ASM, you need to automatically be assigned to your local chapter. So that's based on your country and postal code. So if I go on and I go to the website and I click become a member and complete that transaction, we want that assignment to the chapter to be automatic at that point in time and not have to wait for someone on staff at ASM to intervene and manually look that up and complete that assignment. We also then want to take that a step further and have them automatically assigned to the collaboration group for that chapter so they can immediately start leveraging their benefits. So like I pointed out, it needs to be instant with no delays. And we also like the concept of touch it once and be done with it so that there's no maintenance tasks. So if I had to do this manually, member would join, I would look up, assign their chapter, assign them to the collab group, and then we would have to monitor when that membership expires and then go and remove them from that collaboration group so they can't access that member benefit any longer. Fonteva Member Nation offers maintenance of their subscriptions, so we want to leverage that functionality to leverage the collaboration group assignment and removal. We also have additional footprint plan to expand this functionality to manage our student chapters and our topic-based discussion forums, which would service all of our 25,000 members plus our employees on staff at ASM. So a little bit about our footprint. I mentioned that we use Fonteva Member Nation. So we're a nonprofit. We did not implement the nonprofit starter pack. We do use the Salesforce platform, the accounts and the contact object, and then all of the great tools that come with the platform. And then we use Fonteva's, a couple of their products. We use their framework product. We also use their membership, which is called Member Nation, and their events products, which include an e-commerce solution and a community, which allow members to access their benefits, renew their subscription, and make purchases. I'm going to jump out here and do a demo. So this is our community that when a member goes to our website, they would click become a member and they would land here on the Salesforce community page that's branded for ASM. This is where they can see an overview of our membership and click the join process. The first thing that the join process is going to have them do is authenticate as a user. This is really nice functionality from Member Nation. It creates the contact, the household account, and then also turns on the community user at the same time. So if I needed to create a new user account, I would do that here on the right. Or if I had an existing login, then I can just log in with those credentials. Now, we have a lot of people that might have attended a course or trade show and they weren't a member, but they would have a login from their previous purchase history with us. So they could just log in with those credentials and finish the join process. So once they're logged in, this is where we start to gather some profile information. I'm going to skip down here because all I really care about for this demo is the address. So you can see here where we require the address, city, state, zip, country. All of that's used to do the chapter assignment. So I'm just going to skip through the rest of this profile and click next. And now I am landed on the membership selection page. This is part of the standard join for Fonteva. This is a Visualforce page that's inserted into their join process. So I'm going to select individual membership. And what you'll see here is the screen's going to refresh because this has fired our automation that we built. It looks at the chapter object. I'm going to flip over here to the staff view so you can see this. We have the ASM chapter item, which is linked to a chapter object. And here's the chapter object. On the chapter object, these are all the zip codes that are assigned to that chapter. So it looked at my address for Mitchell Holler, and it saw that he was in the United States. So it looked at his zip code and found his zip code was 44201. That is associated or assigned to the ASM chapter for Akron. So he was assigned to that chapter. Now, there's also the ability for them to select an affiliate or make a donation, but I'm just going to click next. And this is going to take me to the checkout screen where I can enter my payment information and complete the transaction. This is a test site, so you can use that dummy, credit card that I'm glad I don't pay the bill for that. So now I've completed my payment for my membership and I've been assigned to my chapter. This is going to just display my receipt and take me to the portal, which I don't need to see that for this demo. But what I'm going to do is take you to Mitchell's record in the staff view. So here's Mitchell's record in the staff view. Let's reload it and you can see what the Member Nation combined with our initial customization has done. So standard functionality from Member Nation is going to create the sales order. We go down here, you'll see the sales order. And if we open the sales order, it has the items that were completed with the membership. So I purchased individual membership and then the automation looked up my chapter and assigned me to the ASM Akron chapter. So I see that here. The next thing that Fonteva Member Nation does is it creates my subscription when I pay for that sales order. So this subscription is what we were talking about earlier. It has a start date and an end date, and it shows which products I have access to as part of that subscription. So it's very similar in functionality to the standard Salesforce entitlement and assets. So here's my subscription. I'm a 1-year individual membership. I did the self-join, and then I'm showing active, and here's my start date and my end date. And if I look at the related, I can see that my subscription lines are individual membership and ASM Akron chapter. Okay, so that's super important because that's the subscription. But the last thing it did was it assigned badges. So if you go and look at an item, if we go and look at the Akron chapter item, then you'll see that in the related list, you can assign a badge workflow. This is Fonteva functionality. This badge is what we're going to use to leverage the collaboration group automation assignment. So he got assigned that badge when he joined, the ASM Akron member and also the ASM member. What that's going to do is it's going to fire a process builder. This is the process builder. It's going to look at the badge object. And when these conditions are met, it's going to invoke this flow. Now that flow is going to fire off of this record, and it's going to look back at that badge that's assigned to Mitchell. If we go into this badge record, and it's going to check to see if this add to chatter group is populated to yes. That add to chatter group only gets set to yes if it's an appropriate item that's configured to have a collaboration group. It's also going to look at this collaboration group ID. Now, what we've done is there's no relationship between a collaboration group and anything else in the Salesforce database. So when we create a collaboration group, we go and populate that ID into the item field, and then it's just pulled over here with a formula field. So what should happen is that process will fire, it'll invoke this flow, and I have the flow open, and what the flow is going to do is insert that contact, the user record associated to that contact into the chatter group. So if we go and look at the ASM Akron chapter, here I am, I'm the only member. So if we reload and refresh, then we should see that there are now 2 members, and there's Mitchell Holler as a member. So this is how we've automated the assignment of the collaboration groups based on the purchase of a membership and being assigned a chapter. And that saves us a ton of manual tasks that would have to be completed by a staff member at ASM. Now, Fonteva also has a nightly process that runs, and what it does is it looks at the subscriptions. So if we look at Michael Holler, let's go back to him. The subscription has an end date, and when that end date is reached, if the member doesn't renew, then it will terminate the badges and terminate the subscription. Now that will go back to this process, and it will fire and invoke another flow that will remove that member from the collaboration group. And I don't have that piece built out in this test org. It's over in a partial development org, but we've done the initial testing and it does work. We don't have this last piece of functionality in production yet. The chapter assignment has been live since February when we went live. So it is automatically assigning the chapter, and we're getting ready here in the next couple weeks to deploy the automation collaboration group assignment and removal. So we're just in regression testing phase right now, but it all looks good and is working the way we designed it, and we're very happy with this outcome. It did take a little bit of utilizing our skills to build out the tool. So let's look at a couple things that had to be done here. The first thing is it is manual to go into the item and put in that okay, so let's back up one. You do have to go and put the Salesforce ID from the collaboration group into the item manually. So that's something that can't be like built into it's just a manual step. But we don't set up chapters very often. It's a pretty standard footprint, and we might have 1 or 2 new chapters or committees a year. So that work effort should be really low. The other thing we had to do was had to implement a process automation that when the user is created for the community group, it will take that user, and if we look at Mitchell, and we look at his details, it will take his Salesforce user ID and write it here on the contact record. And that's because that relationship isn't consistent. Like automatic built in. From the user, I see the contact, I can click on the contact and get to the contact record. But if I'm on the contact record, there's no field I can just click on and get to the user. So we had to bring that ID over here with an automation piece and then remove it if the managed user gets disconnected. But that seems to be working well and doesn't have any issues. So we're really excited with this solution and look forward to rolling it out into production and saving all of that management of collaboration groups from a manual standpoint. So